Dear friends, myself, Archana Gumte, wants to share the introduction of fuels. Let us see the introduction of fuels. As you know that fuel, it is a combustible substance which contains nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. During the combustion of fuel undergo oxidation in presence of air. The difference in energy results in liberation of heat energy. There are various types of fuel produced, various types of fuels used economically. They are wood, charcoal, coal, etc. Let us see the classification of fuel. Fuels are classified into two categories, namely primary or natural fuel, secondary or artificial fuel. Primary fuel is nothing but it is obtained from nature, and secondary fuel which is obtained from primary fuel. Primary fuel, it is further classified into solid, liquid and gaseous fuel. Secondary fuels, they are also classified into solid, liquid and gaseous fuel. The main examples of primary fuels are wood, coal, petroleum, natural gas. These belongs to primary fuel. Charcoal, petrol, coal gas, biogas, they belong to secondary fuel. Now let us see the difference between solid, liquid and gaseous fuel. Now, the difference between solid, liquid and gaseous fuel, they are main categorized into 7 different points. A very important point is calorific value. So what is calorific value? Calorific value is total amount of heat liberated when unit mass of a fuel is burnt completely. And when you see or when you compare between solid, liquid and gaseous fuel, calorific value of solid fuels are always low as compared to liquid and gaseous. Ignition temperature of solid fuels is always high and it is low for liquid and gaseous fuel. Then solid fuels, they cannot be used in IC engine, internal combustion engine, but liquid fuels and gaseous fuel can be easily used in IC engine. Now let us focus on characteristics of good fuel. There are major characteristics of good fuel. They are, a very important thing is it has high calorific value. Then a good fuel should require low storage space. Good fuel should be cheap and easily available. It should be always available in a bulk quantity. Good fuel should be easily transported, that is, solid and liquid fuels can be easily transported, but gaseous fuels are difficult to transport. Now, what is the meaning of calorific value? Calorific value is a terminology that is also labeled with a symbol CV. The total quantity of heat liberated when unit mass of a fuel is burnt completely. The unit for calorific value is kilocalorie per kg or calorie per gram. Now, the calorific value is of two types, that is HCV or GCV, that is high or gross calorific value. Low or net calorific value, it is also labeled as LCV or NCV. Now, let us see what do you mean by high calorific value. When you burn a charcoal in silica crucible, when you keep it in muffle furnace, after heating, you are going to do the procedure of cooling and it will form ash. And ash, that is nothing but high or gross calorific value. So it can be termed as total amount of heat produced when unit mass or unit volume of a fuel has been burnt completely and the product of combustion have been cooled at room temperature. Similarly, let us focus on low or net calorific value. The net heat produced when unit mass or fuel burnt completely and the product of combustion are allowed to escape. Therefore, you have to remember what is the major difference between HCV, LCV. HCV it is cooled at room temperature, and here the product is allowed to escape. Then let us see the relationship between HCV and LCV. NCV or LCV is equal to GCV or HCV minus latent heat of steam. Latent heat of steam, it is constant. It is labeled as 587 calorie per gram. So the formula for NCV or LCV is equal to GCV minus mass of hydrogen into 9 into latent heat of steam, that is 587 calorie per gram. Now let us discuss what is solid fuel. The best example of solid fuel is coal. You know very well that coal is carbonaceous matter. It is highly composed of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, sulfur. So the major types of coal are wood, peat, lignite, bituminous coal and anthracite. So these classification of solid fuels, it is categorized into calorific value depending on calorific value. So anthracite has higher calorific value, therefore it is termed as highest ranking coal. Wood has low calorific value, therefore it is a lowest ranking coal. And lignite, that is brown coal, it is a middle ranking coal. Now this conversion of wood to anthracite, it is known as progressive transformation, and it is depending on increase in calorific value, decrease in moisture and volatile content, and it is also depending on percentage of nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen, sulfur. Now the conversion or the classification, it is depending on color, from where it is obtained, and there are some uses. So let us focus that wood, it is the lowest ranking coal, which is having a calorific value in the range of 3500 to 4500, and it is used as domestic fuel. Similarly, peat, it is known as dark. When you heat peat, automatically it becomes dark brown color, and power generation and domestic purpose. Lignite, it is also known as brown coal. The calorific value is in the range of 6000 to 7100, and it is deposited in Assam or Kashmir. Similarly, bituminous coal and anthracite. So anthracite is the highest ranking coal. If you observe this chart, you will be able to understand that calorific value of anthracite is highest. Therefore, it is highest ranking coal, and it is always obtained or located in eastern Himalayas, and it is used as fuel in metallurgical processes. Therefore, today we have focused on introduction of fuel, its classification, characteristics of fuel, and in solid fuels we have seen coal, classification of coal. We have seen different classifications from wood to anthracite, and we have labeled, we have seen that wood is lowest ranking coal, anthracite is highest ranking coal, and we have learned the classification of coal sector. Thank you very much.